Like I said, my name is Sandra Duarte. I studied biomedical engineering. When I was 19 years old, I had blood clots and I was rushed to the hospital. When I got released from the hospital, I was told that I was at a higher risk of getting diseases down the road, which led me down this deep dive of how can I prevent these diseases down the road. I came across holistic health, and ever since I was 19, I've just been studying it and teaching it and just trying to spread the word on how to live healthier lives. So I have my Instagram up there. If you prefer TikTok or YouTube, it's the same username, so you can show me some love. And then on the right side, I have a QR code for my website if you want to go ahead and check that out, or if you want to check out my core result guide, it is on there as well. So let's get started. What do we know about toxins? Do we know what toxins are?
Poison.
They are poison, sure. Let's start off with some stats. So in 2023, University of California, Berkeley did a study, and they found that the average person is exposed to over 700,000 different toxic chemicals every single day. They also found that Americans are exposed to more than 5,000 tons of toxic chemicals that are released from consumer products annually. So that's 5,000 tons a year we're exposed to. It's a lot. It was found that 1 out of 23 men and 1 out of 13 women are exposed to carcinogens every day just through personal care products. That's not including foods, that's not including household products. And the reason it's more women than men is because women tend to use more personal care products. We put on makeup, we use shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and then just use the 3-in-1s. So that is why. And carcinogens, for those who don't know, are essentially chemicals or toxins that have a high risk of causing cancer down the road. They also found that 1 out of 24 women are exposed to ingredients in their personal care products that are linked to infertility or developmental harm for a baby or a child. There was also a recent study done where scientists did this study with 54 deceased participants. They found that in these disease participants that there were microplastics in their organs, and even more concerning than that, in their brain as well. So the microplastics were essentially these like sharp plastics in the liver, in the stomach, and then in the brain actually, they found up to a spoonful of microplastics. So you can imagine what these microplastics are doing to our bodies over time. They found that disease participants that passed away in 2024 had 50% more microplastics than participants that had passed away in 2016. So you can probably tell our food and our health is just getting worse and worse over the years, but this is proof right there, what it's doing to us. They also found that out of the 54 participants, 12 of them had dementia. And those 12 dementia participants that had passed away had 10 times more microplastics than those participants who didn't have dementia. So why is this important? Why am I giving you all these statistics? Why am I talking about toxins? Well, so many studies have showed that toxins actually lead to diseases down the road, whether that's cancer, weight gain, premature aging, infertility, just to name a few. But what are toxins? So toxins are essentially these microchemicals that are 5 millimeters or less. And they go into our system and they mess up our health in one way or another. So a toxin is essentially anything that's going to mess up your body. They come from, mold. They come from environmental factors like pollution, industrial waste, and they come from things made in the lab, chemicals, pesticides, additives in our foods. How do they affect us? So toxins have a huge effect on our health. They start with being hormone disruptors. They're endocrine disruptors. So essentially, they go into our body and they mimic hormones, and they attach to our receptors, either creating false signals for our body or just blocking our hormonal signals, which then will make our body not function properly. They have a neurological impact on us, causing brain fog, confusion, mood swings. If you get sick a lot, it could be because you're exposed to a lot of toxins that have now weakened your immune system. They also lead to chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation leads to diseases down the road. So again, this could be cancer, this could be diabetes, this could be heart disease, it could be a number of diseases. And lastly, they put strain on our liver and kidney. And the reason that's important is because those organs are so important in helping our body detox. When your body can't detox, then it starts functioning not properly, and it starts making you age prematurely as well. So there was a waste management company recently that took all the studies that I discussed in the beginning and gave you stats from, and it essentially used our good friend AI ChatGPT. I know everyone is familiar with that nowadays. And they used it to show how toxins affect us, specifically with premature aging, because that's what we can see physically. And so this is what a person normally would look like without having any exposure to toxins. And then they came up with this image showing a low exposure to toxins. So you can see on the right side, this guy he looks pretty healthy, pretty young, bright-eyed, glowing. And then on the left side, his skin is looking a little bit more dull. He has some redness, maybe some bumps here and there. Now let's look at a woman on the right side. And once again, she looks pretty young, pretty healthy. And then on the left, she has some circles under her eyes, some darkness. She looks maybe a little bit more tired. Anything else that you guys see?
Her skin tone is cold.
Yeah, her skin tone looks a little different. Okay, so now let's look at what mid-exposure to toxins looks like. So once again, we have the same guy that's not exposed to toxins whatsoever. Now, it's a little scary to look at, right? The fact that toxins can impact us this much. Once again, he has a lot more redness. Maybe you can start seeing some wrinkles here. A lot more bumps on his face. He just looks very tired. Now let's look at that woman. She has even more bags under her eyes. She probably looks worse than the guy because unfortunately us ladies, we age a little bit faster.
She looks like the other girl's mother.
Yeah, she looks like the other girl's mother. That's 100% accurate. Okay, do you guys want to see what high exposure looks like? It's a little scary. Okay, we're going to look at it anyway. Sorry about that. Okay, hello. Look at that. He is sagging in his face, under his eyes, his cheeks. He has a lot of wrinkles in his forehead. So you can imagine what he looks like inside. Like, I wish we could see what our bodies look like inside when we're exposed to toxins. Are we ready for the woman? Watch out, ladies. All right. There she looks. She even looks a little angry, honestly. And that could be accurate because toxins do affect our mood, so she could be a little upset. So I know these are extremes, but I had a little fun with it, and I ran my own test with AI just to see what it looks like. And these pictures are a little more realistic, but it just goes to show what toxins can do to us. So essentially, the whole summary of this is that if you avoid toxins, it's like free Botox. Okay, so where can we find these toxins? We know now we should avoid them. We know how it affects us, and we know we want to be healthy. But where can we find them? So unfortunately, toxins can be found everywhere in our everyday lives. They're in our personal care products, so our deodorants, our toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, body wash. Household products, Windex, any dust sprayers, our laundry detergent, and environmental factors like pollution, which is a little harder to avoid, especially California. And our food, our processed foods, our water, our packaging that we put our foods into, and our unfiltered water that we get from our sinks as well. Those contain heavy metals, which are essentially toxins. Even the plastic waters, those have toxins because of the plastic that they're in. The takeout food that we get, think about like a rotisserie chicken that you get from the store that's in a plastic container or a plastic bag, and that's put under a heating lamp. And that heat is basically making all the BPA and all the microplastic leach into our rotisserie chicken that we're then consuming. And we wonder why there's a spoonful of plastics in our brain when we pass away. So, personal care products, I'm going to break these down little by little just so you have an understanding of what to look for when you're, trying to be a little bit more aware. And essentially what health risks these ingredients cause. So, in our personal care products, like I said, the deodorants, the shampoos, conditioners, body washes, toothpaste, anything you use, makeup, nail polish, you want to be avoiding, and this is just a short list, there's a lot more, but you definitely want to be avoiding parabens. You want to be avoiding artificial fragrances. If it says SLS, SLES, sulfates, leads, heavy metals, that whole list is up there. Feel free to take a picture of it. But essentially what you need to know is that all of these cause you they interrupt your health in one way or another, whether it's with your hormones, whether it's with your reproduction, whether it's with cancers, it could lead to cancer, or even little things like skin irritations or headaches. Now, what's really interesting is that I have completely eliminated toxic personal products out of my life. And if I just use, let's say, a deodorant that has a toxic ingredient for one day, just one application of it, I immediately start getting bumps under my skin. Because my body is now, it's used to healthy ingredients. And so when I introduce one unhealthy ingredient in there, it immediately starts reacting. So how many people use this kind of shampoo? Or have used it at one point or another? You can show hands, safe space. I won't judge. Okay, so let's look at it. There's 2 sulfates in there. There's a fragrance in there. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last one, but it is a preservative. So let's see what kind of health risks this can cause. So the sulfates. That can cause dryness, irritation, eye irritation, and then kidney and liver damage. Just from putting the shampoo on your head, not consuming it, just regular use of the shampoo. Okay, then we got those fragrances and perfumes. That's going to be under artificial fragrances, so those can cause allergies, skin irritation, headaches, I know a lot of people nowadays have unexplained headaches that they can't get rid of. Maybe it's your shampoo. It can disrupt your hormones, and it can even cause you to have problems with your breathing. Who would have thought? All right, let's look at another one. Old Spice. Does anyone use this? All right, this has fragrances in there and synthetic colors and dyes. So once again, can lead to allergies, skin irritation, headaches, hormone disruption, asthma. Okay, I put a little list of brands you can use that are clean. You can go ahead and take a picture of it. My favorite personally is Additives, which is in the upper left-hand corner. You can just buy that online. You can go on their website. You can go on iHerb. They have a variety of different things from personal care products to household products. But I have found from my research that all of their products are clean or as clean as you can find them.
Which
So,
one again? I'm sorry.
Attitude.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But all these other ones are also super healthy, so you can feel free to try them out and see what works best for you. Everyone has different preferences, but these are Attitude is the one I use the most. Okay, let's go into household products. What do we look for here? Triclosan? I don't even know how to pronounce that. That's another thing. If you find an ingredient in anything, whether it's a personal care product, a household product, or a food product, and you don't know how to pronounce it and you don't know what it is, it's probably bad for you. Bleach, ammonia, that stuff we can pronounce, but it's so bad for you. In fact, it can cause asthma, skin burns, lung damage. All right, Windex. How many people have this in their homes? Probably the majority of us, I would say. I would guess 90%. I think some people are a little shy. But that has ammonia. And having this in your house where your kids are running around, or maybe you have elders living at home that are a lot more sensitive, knowing that this can cause lung damage, does that immediately want to make you throw that out? Okay, so what can you use instead? Well, if you want to make it yourself, you can use vinegar. I've made my own laundry detergent before as well. There's recipes online, or you can just, if you go on my website or my Instagram, you can message me and I can give you those recipes as well. Or you can just use these brands and make it easier on yourself. Once again, I use Attitude. That's my favorite one for everything. Branch Basics is another good one. I have that one in my house as well. All right, food and beverages. This is probably the most dangerous one because it goes directly into our body. I mean, the personal care products do as well, but they go through your skin. This is something we're consuming. What do we look for here when we're looking at the ingredients? Does anyone, when they shop, look at the ingredients in their packages? What do you usually look for? Does anyone want to volunteer?
Sugar.
Sugar? Sugar is a good one too, but that's another topic. We won't talk about sugar today. Sorry? Gluten? Yeah. Dyes. Dyes is a good one. Does anyone look for natural flavors? See some people in the back shaking their head. Okay, so things you want to avoid is artificial colors, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, nitrates and nitrites, sodium benzoate and potassium benzoate, gums, and natural flavor. So I'm not going to go through all the health risks of it, but essentially it can cause developmental harm, it can cause hyperactivity, cancer, definitely unexplained weight gain, inflammation, endocrine disruption, heart disease. Like, there's a list of it. I'm not going to go through all of that. You can take a picture of it. one thing or two that I want to point out specifically are gums and natural flavors, because a lot of products have that, and they claim to be healthy and claim to not contain high fructose corn syrup or MSG, and they claim to be okay to eat. But when you look at the ingredients in the back of the package, they still have gums and they still have natural flavors in there. So gums, fun fact, this might scare you a little bit, but gums actually are made out of the same things as our wallpaper is made of, and insecticides are made of. So imagine consuming that in your body and what it's doing to your gut, what it's doing to your body. Natural flavors, another scary one, and this is a controversial one because everyone sees natural and thinks it's good for you. But natural flavors are actually not regulated by the FDA. So a company can call it a natural flavor as long as it has a product in there or ingredient in there that is made out of something natural, whether it's an animal or a plant, but they don't have to disclose all the other ingredients in there to the FDA. So vanilla flavor, for example, it's a natural flavor, but does anyone want to guess what it's made out of? Go ahead.
Is it beaver testicles or beaver?
Yeah, it's made out of beaver anal glands.
Yeah.
So I probably just ruined your vanilla flavored lattes. Sorry about that, but that's what you're consuming.
But not real vanilla, just vanilla flavor.
Just vanilla flavor because it's a natural flavor. But real vanilla is made out of vanilla bean. Okay, let's look at some common products. Who likes this for breakfast? Who doesn't love bacon? Except for vegans, vegetarians, I understand. I love bacon, but you gotta still look at the ingredients in the back of your packaging. Just because it is a natural product, meat is a natural product. It's made out of pork most of the time. But in this case, this brand right here, Oscar Mayer, adds sodium nitrite, to its bacon. So what can that do to our health? Let's see, did I put that up there? I did. Nitrites and nitrates. It can cause cancer, heart disease, reduced blood flow, and cardiovascular disease. Let's look at another one, Pepsi. Someone had Pepsi in here. I'm not going to say any names. All right, this contains caramel, however you want to say it, color, which is an artificial color, and then that potassium benzoate. So let's take a look at what this causes. Artificial colors, right up top, hyperactivity in children, cancer, endocrine disruption. And that's sodium benzoate, once again, cancer. Hyperactivity, skin rashes, asthma, swelling, and DNA damage, which could be premature aging. Let's look at one more. Triggering. I know growing up, I was always told this was healthy. Now, I'm like, Mom, what did you give me? But once again, it has that natural flavors and that gum that I already scared you guys about, so I won't repeat it. And then it also has high fructose corn syrup in there. So, high fructose corn syrup, insulin resistance, diabetes, obesity. It affects your metabolism, fatty liver disease, heart disease. Natural flavor can cause headaches, brain fog, fatigue, mood swings, overeating, weight gain. A lot of health risks that these products contain or cause, So overall, I know I probably just scared a majority of you, I'm sorry. But I just want everyone to be aware of what they're putting in their bodies or on their bodies or surrounding themselves with. So I think it's really important that everyone is aware of what these ingredients are and how to avoid them and what toxins really are. And just be a little bit more mindful in our day-to-day lives. If you're dealing with any kind of diseases or any kind of abnormal symptoms, that's not normal. Just because your doctor can't figure out what it is doesn't mean you should have to live with those things. And there are options to avoid that. And this is just one of the options. So that's it for today. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
If someone's been exposed to so much toxins like that, is there a way to reverse it when you start clean living? Do those things come out of your body?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for those of you who didn't hear, she was asking if anyone has been exposed to a lot of those things, what they can do to reverse it. Yeah, I mean, just if you start, eating clean and trying to avoid the toxins as much as possible, your body's going to start reversing all those symptoms. Slowly, it's not going to be immediate like taking a pill, but your body naturally detoxifies itself. As long as the liver and the kidney are working properly, then it's going to be able to repair itself.
I like going to saunas, also helping to like sweat out all the detox.
Yeah, so she's
toxins.
asking if going to saunas will also help sweat out all the toxins and help you detox. And yes, it does. But you have to make sure also
It's like
that
between 5 to like 15 minutes.
Yeah, but also you have to make sure that, you're not putting all this junk into your body or surrounding yourself with it and then going to the sauna and expecting all of it to be gone. You have to, it definitely will help your body get rid of those toxins faster, but it shouldn't be used as, okay, just because I went to the sauna and now I can, put all these toxins in my body.
Doesn't the liver do most of the toxin removing off your body? Your skin is a sweat gland. It's there to help you regulate your heat. It doesn't really... I like saunas because it creates your vascular system to stimulate. It's good for your cardio, your heart. It's good for brain stimulation. But a sauna and sweating is not a way to release toxin. The liver does that, not our skin.
Yeah, the liver definitely does remove toxins, but sauna, I know.
So the toxin comes out through the muscle, through the bone, and out through the skin. That just makes no sense.
It does.
How? I mean, that's such a misconception. I hear that all the time because I teach hot yoga, and people ask me like, "Oh, am I releasing toxins?" I'm like, no.
There have been studies that it is releasing toxins because it's making your body circulate better, and it's helping your heart. And when you're getting blood to your liver, it's helping your liver function properly.
But it's not like the toxins are coming out of your skin.
No, there's no evidence that it's coming out of your skin, but it's definitely, going through your bloodstream, and it's gotta come out, whether it's through urine or different ways, it's gonna come out. Most of the time it's through your urine.
How do you detox your liver, and do you recommend Brita filtration?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually just had this question with one of my clients I work with. She was asking how do you detox your liver and if you should use Brita as a filter, right?
Water.
Yeah, as a water filter. So, in order to detox your liver, you need to make sure that it's working properly. And in order for it to work properly, we gotta remove all those toxins out of your body, and then it's gonna start working properly, and it's gonna help you detox and get rid of, again, urine majority of the time. Brita itself is probably one of my favorite ways to filter your water. The only thing that I don't like with Brita is that it is made out of plastic. I prefer Brita over tap water or plastic water bottles just because it is higher quality plastic. However, another great option is online. They now sell filters that you can plug into your faucet. I would say that is the best option, but I know it isn't the most affordable for everyone. Brita's a cheaper alternative. Not the best, but it is better than everything else.
Could I just clarify, with the liver detox, they talk about turmeric and, those kind of, dose is a big thing now, that
What is it?
It's called DOSE, that drink that you take.
Okay.
Are those really effective, or they probably have more stuff in them too?
Yeah. I haven't heard of dose as a drink. I would have to look that up. But turmeric, I mean, again, we gotta make sure that everything we're consuming is clean, so there's no additives and anything in the turmeric. But turmeric does help improve and quicken the amount of time to detox everything. It's also really good for inflammation, which a lot of toxins cause inflammation, and when you're inflamed, it's going to slow your body from detoxing. So it helps with that specifically.
Thank you.
Yes.
Would you be able to just kind of summarize the makeup part, like key ingredients to avoid or maybe products to avoid?
In
Apologies,
makeup?
sure, I'm a little bit late.
Oh, yeah. In makeup, you said?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let me go back. I don't have these memorized because it's a lot of stuff and I don't know how to pronounce it. So I'll just go back. You can take a picture of this. Another great tool to use is this app called EWG. You can just, I don't think you can scan on there. I just type it. I just type the brand in there. And then you can see if it's harmful for you or not. Another thing is to look for the EWG logo on products, and that'll tell you that it is not toxic.
What is
Is there a
EWG?
website?
EWG, I don't know what it stands for.
Environmental board.
Oh, she's got it.
It says environmental board, something else.
Environmental work something.
Yeah, working group.
Working group. There we go. Environmental working group. But yes, it's a website. I believe it is a website. It's definitely an app. I use the app on a daily basis, pretty much.
And then you screen the barcode?
I don't think I don't think you can do the barcode, but you can definitely type it in. Like type in the
Ingredient?
brand. You type in the brand. So like a lot of times I use attitude for everything, and I just type in attitude, and it tells me like yes or no. Another thing is it's really nice because they're starting to. They didn't have this when I first found out about the app, but now you can actually go on there and browse. Like let's say I'm a girl and I want mascara, and like I know that a lot of makeup has a ton of toxins in there, so you can go in and browse what kind of mascara is actually, I wouldn't say good for you, but better than most brands.
And that would be on EWG?
EWG.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a skincare section on EWG.
Yeah, they have skincare. I think they might have foods now. I don't really use it for the foods, but I use it for personal care products. They definitely have personal care products and household products on there.
Skincare and cosmetics.
Sorry?
You can scan barcode.
Oh, there you go. They updated it. You can scan the barcodes, even better.
On a product.
Any other questions for me?
Do you recommend any kind of supplements or things like that, or?
Okay, do I recommend any kinds of supplements? This is a topic I can talk about for hours. I'm starting a supplement brand, so I nerd out over this, and I've learned a lot of shocking things about it. Here's the thing. Like, I know I'm starting a supplement brand. I think a lot of stuff you can get through your foods. The reason that I'm starting a supplement brand is because of how our food's made nowadays. It lacks a lot of vitamins and nutrients in there, or we tend to live in a hustle culture where we just grab anything that's quick, and then that decreases all the vitamins that we're ingesting. The best way to get any kind of, nutrients and vitamins and whatnot is through your foods. If you need to rely on supplements, I understand. I understand the kind of world we live in, and I understand what our food system looks like. So I would recommend like the typical, oh my gosh, I don't even want to, this is going to be like a while of me talking, but I recommend fish oils, vitamin C's, vitamin D's. Fish oil, I think, is a really important one. The one thing is, and I shouldn't say fish oil, excuse me. I should say omega-3s, omega-6s. Omegas are the supplements you should be taking. Fish oil, you have to be really picky about, and I would more so stray away from just because of all the mercury in our fish and whatnot. And I would prefer you to take omega supplements made out of algae instead of fish instead.
Even like sardines or krill?
Yeah, you have
Even
to.
though they're not carnivores?
Yes. She was asking about sardines and krills, and yes, because you just never know how they're farmed or how they're raised. They can still have mercury in them. So algae is probably like the cleanest form of omegas that you can take as a supplement, at least. And the reason I say this is like a huge topic for me is because supplements, like I said, I understand why you need to take them. The one thing is sometimes people do more harm than good by taking supplements because of how they're manufactured and what's put into them. This is something I never thought about until I started doing research on where I want to source from. And you have to be careful that it doesn't have heavy metals or toxins in there, because then I'd rather you just not take any supplement at all. A lot of manufacturers put additives in there because when you're creating these supplements, especially in pill form, you need these additives in order to put them into this circle or this tablet or whatever. I prefer and I highly recommend taking liquid or powder form supplements, not only to avoid some of the detrimental effects of manufacturing, but also because they are able to be absorbed by your body a lot quicker, and more of it is able to be absorbed. So it's also a better bang for your buck, honestly. Any other questions?
Yeah, how do you feel about fasting, juice fasting, regular water fasting?
Yeah, she's asking about fasting, and what do I feel about it? And I think it depends. I think as long as you don't go into extremes, it is good for you. I think our body is meant to fast, and when I say fast, I don't mean for the crazy 20 hours, 24 hours, 3 days that are popular nowadays, because that's gonna lead to, it's gonna mess with your insulin levels, it's gonna mess with your blood sugar. And when you're constantly messing with that stuff, it's gonna lead to prediabetes, it's gonna lead to high cholesterol. Even if you're eating healthy, but you're fasting, it's still going to lead to that. So you have to be careful to make sure that your blood sugar levels are regulated. I do think fasting is important because you don't want to constantly be putting things into your body, because then your body's constantly working and constantly trying to process those foods and absorb the nutrients and get rid of what it needs to get rid of. So it does need a break. And so I would love for everyone to fast from dinner to breakfast. That's why breakfast is called breakfast. You're meant to fast. So I would say like 10 to 12 hours, which is normal from dinner time to breakfast time, but nothing more than that.
I mean, I did intermittent fasting like 16 hours. I didn't do more than that for about 6 months. I lost 15 pounds that I gained, and now for the last 8 months I do about 14 hours. And it is so easy to maintain. If we have a big weekend out and my weight goes up a few pounds, I'm just careful like 3-4 days of drinking a crap ton of water. I think was huge. Like I noticed if I don't have as much water, then my weight's not as stable.
Yeah.
And it's just been really life-changing.
Right, and people love fasting for the weight benefits of it, which is definitely like one part of our health, but like another part of our health is what the inside of our body is looking like and what it's functioning like, and long forms of doing those kind of fasts can lead to other things down the road. So you might be looking great, you might be ready for the beach, but it's not so fun. It's not so fun when you do your blood work and you're like, oh no, why do I have pre-diabetes? I don't eat any processed foods. What's going on here? It could be the extreme fasting.
I used to do it too, but it elevated my cortisol levels, so my circadian rhythm was all messed up. So now, 30 minutes after I wake up, I eat for sure.
Right.
And then you could do time fasting. You can have your breakfast, not eat to your lunch, so it's all that snacking to keep your weight down. Intake your protein to slim yourself down. Especially I'm 57, so like I'm already in a menopausal stage, so I take a lot of protein into my body.
Yeah, I'm actually in my 60s,
Yeah.
but I have about 75 grams of protein a day, so.
Look up
protein-
Dr. Stacy Sims.
Mhm.
She talks a lot about women and aging and getting
Yeah.
healthier, and I'm sure you're familiar with her. You
Yeah.
studied her work. She talks about fasting, but I did it, and
Yeah.
I noticed my cortisol levels were higher. I went to a functional doctor.
Yeah.
It's not benefiting at all. But you do lose the weight, but you could do time fasting. Just make sure you don't eat before bed 3-4 hours before bedtime, and that'll help you.
Any other questions or comments?
Great, this is great.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Do you have any opinions on the air purifiers in the home?
I haven't done a deep dive on air purifiers. I do think they are super beneficial, and if you can't afford one, opening up your windows is a great alternative to it, honestly. Especially when you're like showering, just to prevent any mold from growing in your house. But I do think air purifiers are amazing. I don't have any specific brands, just because I said I just haven't done as much research into air purifiers.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Can you put that list up again of the products you recommend? Or the...
Yeah, for personal
I
care.
was gonna take a picture and then it switched over.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Can you put your QR code up there?
Yeah. Yes.
Can I ask what hair products you use or you would recommend and for shampoo and conditioner?
Yeah, so I recommend Attitude. This is all the brands that are clean for personal care, including shampoos, conditioners, all that stuff. Attitude is my favorite. I just think it works best, and I like. Let me get those QR codes back up for you. I just like ease, so I don't like going to 5 different websites to get my personal hair care products and then another website for my household products. Like, I just like it easy, and Attitude has all of that in there. Now, if you're talking about hairsprays or like dry shampoos, you're probably not gonna find that on these websites. Dry shampoos I've made before, and this is gonna sound weird, but I really like it. For dry shampoo, especially for darker hair, I use like cornstarch and cocoa powder. It makes your hair smell really good too.
What did you say before cocoa powder?
Yeah, if you want a dry shampoo that's non-toxic, you can make your own by doing cornstarch, and if you have dark hair, you do cocoa powder. If you have light hair, just use the cornstarch.
So you can eat it too.
There you go. You can also eat it if you're getting hungry.
Reserve.
Or if you don't like the cocoa powder smell, you can just do charcoal powder instead.
What do you think about tea?
Tea.
Like chamomile tea and those herbal teas?
Yeah, I like teas. There are specific things like tea bags that are a little bit less toxic than others. So usually the more expensive teas, unfortunately, are the better ones for your health because they don't have those microplastics in there. But I love teas. I think they're a great alternative, especially to like juices.
So would the tea not in the tea bag be better?
Yes, definitely. Yes, the tea not in the tea bag would be better for those that can't hear in the back.
It's really hard though, isn't it? It's like an uphill battle because it's just so prevalent.
Yeah, our system is making it harder and harder. And a lot of people aren't aware of it, so they don't, like, they want to do what's good for them, but they just don't know where to start. And it's so much to look at. I mean, look at all the ingredients I listed, and that's not even half of them. Those are just like the most common ones, right? It is very difficult. Yeah. Good one. Anyone else?